Here we have an upper line brother sewing machine that we're going to clean the thread cutter. The proper procedure is to remove the bobbin cover plate, remove the needle plate, remove the bobbin, remove the bobbin case, and right here is our thread cutter. This has several little small pieces of metal that are easily bendable, so it's important that we don't get too aggressive with trying to clean this out. You have a little pile strip that's right here. It's actually called a brush pile, and that its job is to trap the thread tail after a thread cut so that you will complete your first stitch after a thread cut. So a lot of people will remove this or grab a hold of this thinking it's fuzz and remove it from your machine. If you do that, your thread cutter will not work. It's important to have this brush pile left behind. What you're doing is you're going to clean off any threads, thread tails, fuzz, anything that is not part of the brush pile. You're going to remove that. And you can do that with a pair of tweezers, as I have here. You can also use a little straight pin and pick some of those out. Just remember, be careful that you don't dislodge the brush pile or bend any of these small metal pieces. Otherwise, your thread cutter will not function. Once you've removed all of the debris, you're going to then put everything back in reverse. Now that we have our thread cutter nice and clean, we're going to put everything back in reverse order. So we're going to take our bobbin case and put it in first. And if you'll notice, there's a little white mark here and a little white mark here. These two should be facing each other, and that will tell you that your bobbin case is installed correctly. So you're going to tuck it underneath the feed dogs and set it down in there and ensure that the two white marks are across from each other. If they're across from each other, then you're okay. You can also look at this line here. It should be parallel with the front edge of the feed dogs, front bottom edge of the feed dogs. Parallel, parallel. The next is we're going to put our needle plate on. And remember, you have two little tips here that have to go underneath this spot over here. So we're going to slide this across, tuck in our two tips, press down on our needle plate, make sure it's fully engaged. We're going to drop our bobbin in. It's important that you pull on your bobbin thread to make sure that your bobbin case, or your bobbin in your bobbin case, is turning counterclockwise. All drop-in bobbins, when you put the bobbin in, should turn counterclockwise. If it's turning clockwise, just lift it out and flip it over, put it back in, till when you pull some thread, you get a counterclockwise rotating bobbin. Pull it around and cut the thread off. This motion gives you just enough tail so that you will complete your first stitch. Then we're going to put our bobbin cover plate back on, and now we have a nice and clean thread cutter assembly on a later model brother machine.